Madam Ambassador, thank you very much for accepting our invitation.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
We are here in a month after the meeting of President Donald Trump and President Andrzej Duda in Washington, in White House, and after the signing of the declaration, which is very important from the point of view of your mission, because now you know exactly what to do.
Very true. The president was very clear before I left Washington to take up post of what my priorities should be. He reaffirmed those priorities at the meeting at the White House with President Duda. And those priorities are, one, to work with Poland for their energy independence and security, to work with Poland on their role in strengthening their role in NATO, and to work to see that Poland can strengthen its own security. It is, of course, paying its 2%. It has invested in its own security. That is very reassuring. And then, of course, to make sure that American companies here in Poland are treated fairly and on a level playing field. We have seen $47 billion of American investment in Poland since its independence. Poland is growing. It is an important market because it is in the region. Poland, with 40 million people, a rising middle class, educated, low inflation, and a growth rate of over 5%. It is just the place to invest. It has Poland is really, I think, at the precipice right now, that moment, where it will become the power in the region. And not just the region, but it will stand shoulder to shoulder with France and Germany in the EU. Poland is really taking its place in the leadership. And for the United States, it's an important ally. And my job is to make sure that we plant our flag here with yours firmly to know that we are reliable.
Important part of this declaration was the mention about the energy security. And last days brought some good news in this area.
Very good news. As a matter of fact, yesterday morning, before I came to Krakow, I was at the signing of a very important long-term agreement for LNG to be imported from the United States to Poland at a very competitive rate, which will further help Poland become energy independent.
So this is the result of this declaration? Do you think that's the first fruits of these declarations we can see by this signing?
I think it's fair to say that. I think this is just the beginning. Although Poland has taken those steps. It built an LNG terminal, so it's put the infrastructure in to be able to import LNG. And we're looking at Poland as an energy hub, one day being an exporter itself to the region of LNG. So Poland has already made the steps forward in that way, and I think the meeting in Washington only reinforced our commitment to energy security.
Let me go back to the meeting of President Trump and President Duda. You have unique perspective. You know President Trump for a long time. You are friends. You know if he changed being president. How would you describe from this perspective the atmosphere of the meeting between presidents there in Washington?
I can tell you that I thought the meeting was a meeting between two world leaders that had a true and genuine affection for each other. A real trust, open dialogue. I was in the meetings. I was very, very open, very frank. Both leaders laid out how they could cooperate. You have to know that not just the president. I mean, when President Duda came to Washington for this meeting, he already had a lot of support in the United States Congress, a lot of support in the State Department. The president had clearly sent a message that Poland was a reliable ally and that we had to strengthen our ties at every level, people to people. We had these common values that bind us and a common history. So it was a very warm, it wasn't as formal as other world leaders because both President Duda and President Trump clearly had a camaraderie between them. And that was seen in the picture between the two men. I mean, you could see there was a real close friendship there.
A month ago, we first time heard Fort Trump idea. Do you think it's now the household name in America? There are a lot of commentaries by experts about the possibility of building American base here. Do you think Americans know why for Poles it's so important?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think Fort Trump wasn't the focus. Frankly, it was just thrown out. But the permanent base, we are certainly taking a very serious look at. We are trying to understand and analyze how it, with U.S. priorities for defense and deterrence, how that'll work in the region. But I know that the United States of America wants to do everything we can to strengthen our relationship and our position of Poland in the U.S. in NATO. So I can tell you there's a lot of support. How that will actually finally work out, I don't know. But we're going to have something. We're going to see something in a few months, and I can say with really feeling very good about saying that you're going to get a lot of what you want because it's in both of our interests that Poland remain very militarily strong.
Important part of the declaration is part about the cooperation in economy, innovation, and you have your own personal experience there as a successful businesswoman. Probably you can use it here during your mission.
Well, I hope so, since my entire career has been in business. I only retired 3 years ago and then had this opportunity, the greatest honor of my life, to serve my country, and in this country, in Poland, which is, as I said, it's exciting to be here as Poland takes its place as a real power. As a business person, of course, everything I did in my career was results-oriented. Everything is about getting something done. In the United States, it's quarter to quarter. Very different from normal politics. But I think the president appreciated that. He, as a businessman, and I think if you see the results, literally, that he's getting, that normally don't get done under normal circumstances, we are results-oriented, and I am determined that our relationship with Poland be strengthened and that we have tangible results of me being here in this country and working closely with the government.
Of course, cooperation, Polish-American cooperation is easier when people do not need to apply for a visa. So, as a new ambassador, I have to ask you, do you think that during your mission, this problem may be solved or may solve itself?
Well, let me say this. I'm competitive. I don't like to lose. And I can't defend the fact that you haven't had the visa waiver. You should have it. I've made that my position on this very clear, but that's not good enough. I do know it has the attention now of very high up in Washington. We have a plan of action. And since I already told you I'm results-oriented, that plan of action I intend to roll out, and it may be the last thing I do, but I am determined to get that visa waiver through.
We are celebrating 100 years together, 100 lat razem, and this is why you are here in Krakow today, because you will be attending the concert honoring Herbert Hoover. So you are starting the second centenary of the Polish-American diplomatic relations, in a way.
That's very exciting. I didn't realize that before I got here, but I will try to honor that. I am very happy to be a part of this celebration this evening. President Hoover was our 31st President of the United States. I understand he came to Poland many times. He was a great humanitarian, both after World War I and World War II, to deliver food and clothing. And I would hope that we can continue that tradition, and that's why I'm here this evening.
In the end, I have to ask you, because of your declaration, how is your Polish learning going?
Oh, I'm so wish you hadn't asked that of me, because I can say dziękuję. Is that any good? Did I do it right? Okay,
yes,
good.
It's okay.
Okay. I'm not particularly have an ear for languages. I speak English, a little bit of Texan. But other than that, I'm trying. I do have an app on my telephone that's a pronunciation app, which has saved my life because I have to type in all your names. And then it pronounces it for me out loud on this app. And thank God for that. You do have a tough language. It's not easy. I'm struggling, but I'm trying. So if I get any gold stars, you have to give me one for trying at least.
Thank you very much for this conversation. Have a great evening in Krakow.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be here.